Hey guys, welcome back to Young Americans Abroad. My name is Austin.
And my name is Patrick.
And guys, welcome back to our show.
Yeah, we got AVT and PAT. They talking about young Americans overseas. We got McKinney, Pulisic, Reina, and Des. Got that red, white, and blue USA on the crest. From England, Germany, from Belgium to Spain. Racking up all the medals on the trophy train. Got one thing on their mind, we're scaling some love. One day we can say we will win the World Cup.
Well, guys, it is great to be back this week. And Pat, we had some good performances we got to talk about.
Yeah, it was a big upturn in form, Austin, especially after that not so good vibe we were getting right from the friendlies. It seemed like a lot of our Yas were struggling, but goals are picking back up. It's great to see as we head into almost the middle of October already.
Yeah, I know. It's already it's already the middle of October. World Cup is quickly approaching. I mean, we're gonna find out that roster in nearly just a few weeks now. So exciting times. Obviously a lot of players trying to play their way onto that roster as well. So it makes for a lot of interesting club situations. But like you said, Pat, a lot of our players rose to the occasion this weekend. So got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we do. And I think we got to start with Captain America here first, Austin.
Oh, yeah.
What a great feel-good story of the weekend for the Ya boys, right? The Americans abroad. Christian Pulisic back with a start, back on the score sheet under a new manager in Potter. Chelsea dominating winning over a very poor, struggling Wolves, to be honest. But hey, goal's goal, win's a win. And Pulisic really took his chance, Austin. So the 72 minutes there, one goal, a few chances created, 100% tackles won, 80% passing there, and an 8.0 rating on FootMob. So take that for a grain of salt. But I think all in all, a pretty successful day in the office for Christian. And you could see how much that goal meant to him too, with the celebration and just kind of the relief, with the teammates and everything. But just to take you through the first half, right? So you could see he was definitely hungry, which is a great thing to have right on the pitch. The whole Chelsea team just looked rejuvenated, energized against Wolves, but a little rusty from Christian, right? You saw him get into great positions. Again, great aggression, winning the ball. Again, fighting with Adama Traore, who's not an easy guy to get the ball off of. But yeah, just looking menacing down that left flank there in his preferred position out wide left. But he did have some misses, right? I think there was one that fell to him inside the 18, which he could have gotten at least on target, maybe even a goal there that just skied it over the crossbar along with a looping header. But nonetheless, he was getting himself in great positions and chances. The one that came close, Austin, was that curling effort, almost that Coutinho-esque or just that beautiful curler, right? But the goalie, the Wolves goalie, just stretched out perfectly and kept that one away. That would have been awesome to see.
Yeah, it was really good to see him, back in the starting lineup again, under Chelsea's new manager. And yeah, kind of getting back to his old ways, right? Being dangerous, getting forward, inside the box too, right? Taking some chances and, scoring on a really nice chance as well. So I think it was really positive to see his play this weekend. And also we kind of talked a little bit about it off camera, his combination with some of the other players on the field as well, right? Like Mason Mount, someone who's gotten a lot of flack this season for not really having the best start. And on the day, right, they had some pretty good play together. And that's, a player that Christian's very comfortable playing with, right? Like they've had a lot of success together on the field. So it's I think it's good to see him again, just getting integrated back into like that starting lineup too, right?
Yeah, just part of that group, right? And it's different when you're on the bench and struggling, right? And you want to get in there, get the goals or assists and celebrate with your teammates actually on the pitch. So you can see how much that meant to him, right? Exactly, you said that combination with Mount for that second goal. They had some really good giving goes back and forth, and Mount with I don't even know how he saw Christian and squeezed it through that tight angle. That was, that was pretty nice. It wasn't pretty maybe good, the cleanest because it, maybe it hit off of a defender a little bit going through, nicked the defender, but the vision there was pretty impressive. And Christian's runs, right, darting in, cutting inside from the left, and then a really, really cool, calm and collective finish there chipped a little bit over the Wolves keeper. Made sure he was not going to save that one, and again he did the little celebration there at the end. So that was
FIFA
awesome.
patented.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I know Potter right after the game said you could tell how much that meant to Christian. Took his chance in his preferred position. And it was just great to, again, see this Chelsea attack look so rejuvenated, right? After a huge win against Milan. Now coming into the Prem, back to winning ways. They have another game. We're filming this on Monday, but I believe they play tomorrow, Tuesday, again, at Milan and San Siro. That'll be a tough game, but love to see Pulisic kind of continue the momentum, along with, again, rejuvenated Mount. And like you said, just a lot of these attackers finally finding form just only bodes well for Christian as well in a collective unit.
Yeah, I'm curious if we'll see, Pulisic versus Dust down that, left or right side, depending on which team you're rooting for.
Oof. I don't know. We need Dust to get some confidence back.
Yeah, it's not been the best start to the year for him, but hey, Christian found his way back into the lineup, so maybe the same will happen for him in Milan there. But
that's right. Stay positive, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was great to see Christian's involvement this weekend, and yeah, we'll have to see what he does this week and next weekend, and report back for you guys. Now we want to move on to the championship and talk about Josh Sargent. So if you didn't know, Josh Sargent continued his scoring ways this weekend, scoring the first goal for Norwich in their 3-2 loss to Preston North End. This weekend in their game. And yeah, it was a really nice, chance that he took. Nice slotted shot past the goalkeeper, just outside the box. And yeah, that brings his goal tally now to 7 goals in the championship. So that's good for, that's good basically for second in the Golden Boot race. I believe the leading scorer right now in the championship has 8 goals. So he's right there, Pat. He's really breathing down his neck, and making the most of this, successful start to the season, and really just, again, performing like one of the best players in that league there. So yeah, I really only got to see a few highlights from this game, but some of the, qualities we've seen from Josh this year is his aggressiveness, right? He's staying aggressive, very hungry. He's making good runs into the box, doing a lot of, dirty work defending as well and pressing, winning possession back as well. So, you got to see some of that in this game as well. And again, Pat, I mean, there's not much more to say, right? He just keeps scoring. Hopefully we get to, see some of these goals come in the red, white, and blue.
Yeah, he keeps scoring. And yeah, I'd love to see that translate over to the national team. Just looking to it's great to see him integrate as well back with Pukki. I think that's something we've all been worried about week after week and how he would integrate back in, because he was fantastic. But just looking here at the formation a little bit, it looks like they're playing, again, Ramsey down the middle there, more in that 10 type of role. But then you have Sargent Pukki alongside that has worked pretty well, right, for Norwich so far. So it's great to see Sargent still being involved and not kind of reverting back to how it was, before Pukki got injured.
Yeah, and I think from some of the highlights I've seen, he's done a really good job, or just, the team in general has done a really good job of combining, right? So they're allowing, times for him to come inside and make some of those, striker-like runs or take up some of that striker-like position. And again, I think, like you said, his partnership with Timo Pukki, and even, some of the other attackers that they play out on the right have really helped him out as well. And yeah, I think Norwich has had a lot of success this year because they've been able to, rely on each other to score a lot of their goals, right? They've really kind of come together after a slow start to the season. And again, Josh was getting service finally, right? Something he wasn't getting in Bremen. And yeah, I think, just the confidence that is built up inside of him has really, helped him take his game to the next level this year and capitalize on chances when he gets them.
Don't remind me of the black hole of Bremen, Austin. And it's just kind of cool. I was just thinking about the championship and how many guys, right? I'm not jinxing Sargent.
Yeah.
Think about a lot of the guys that have been with teams in championship getting promoted. Horvath, right? He's part of the Nottingham squad there before.
Yeah.
You have, right? You also have Anthony Robinson and Ream. Obviously, they've gone up and down, but seems like Americans are pretty clutch in getting their clubs back into the Premier League. So knocking on the wood there for Norwich again.
Yeah, hoping their season ends pretty strong, and yeah, they can take advantage of his strong play here. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're kind of staying in the attacking realm, right? We're gonna
Yeah.
move over to the Eredivise though with Ricardo Pepi. And I don't know. I feel like I hear that train down in the distance, right? We're all aboard, right? I got my ticket punched again after getting off after a few stops. So I'll be honest. Um, but no, it's great to see Ricardo with 2 goals, right? Unfortunately for Groningen, they did lose the game, but from an offensive end, attacking end, Ricardo did his job. He is full of confidence there with his club, which is fantastic to see. 100% of the tackles and duels won in this game as well, some interesting stat, and then a 9.0 rating on Foot Mob again, Eredivise, team of the week there, again against Waldwick, who they did lose to. But the first goal, right, was a penalty. He took that penalty with confidence, right? He stepped up, no qualms, no hesitations at all. He put the ball in the back of the net, and then the second goal as well was a nice give and go, and just
beautiful, man.
Yeah, like you said, just in the run of the play, that's when you have the confidence, right? You're feeling yourself as a number 9, the attacker. You have kind of that flow in the game. So it was just awesome to see, right? And you can see how much his teammates love him there. The fans love him, how much of an impact he's made. And this really kind of resuscitated his bid for Qatar, honestly, because gosh, that Augsburg drama was.
Yeah, speaking of Bremen being a black hole, Augsburg was definitely in that same category there last year and the start of this year. So yeah, no, I think the thing that really stood out to me from this game, I thought that second goal was awesome. I think that was, another standout highlight. But really what I noticed was just his emotion after scoring both goals, right? Like, he's really feeling confident and passionate right now, and the situation he's in and the level he's playing at. And I think that's so positive to see, right? Because he could have easily just, hung his head down, maybe even tried to stay at Augsburg for this year and not bet on himself to go into a really unknown situation, right? Like, I'm sure he had no familiarity with the situation he was walking into at Groningen there, but bet on himself, right? And it's really paying off for him this this fall. And like you said, I think the more goals he scores, I think it's pretty safe to say now he's truly in good form. I think this move's going to pay off in a World Cup ticket for him. And honestly, like we talked about earlier this fall, I think he's one of the most talented strikers we have, even right now as a 19 20-year-old. I think he's one of the most talented players we have in the attacking striker position. And if he's in great form, then I think he has every right to start and be a valuable contributor to our USMNT team.
I was about to ask if he keeps this up, and kind of a 2-part here, but from a national team perspective, he's keeping this up, right? Maybe some goals and assists here to round out the rest of October. Do you start him? Say he's coming into form. What is he at? 4 goals, 1 assist or so. If he's getting up to, by the end of October there, 8, even 9, if he can touch that or another assist or 2, he's in hot form. Auston, is he your starter over Ferreira maybe, or a Sargent or whoever else is in the conversation?
So I just love all his qualities based on his physical attributes, his technical ability, the runs he makes, the positions he gets into. I would start him, to be completely honest. I think he brings more at the striker position than than Jesus Ferreira. I think Josh Sargent might bring a little bit more savviness and maybe defensive work rate to his game. But I just don't think he has the same qualities that Pepi brings you, right? Like, Pepi's a tall player. He's not, he's someone that has the ability to get on the top of headers, right? Or be a poacher in and around the box. But also he's able to combine with people too. And he can do, some defensive work himself. So I just think he's a little bit more of an all around striker. And just someone that, I think I think he's just, him and Sargent's really tough right now, right? They're both in pretty good form, but I back both of them to score goals. And I think, Ricardo Pepi just has maybe a few more assets that allow him to score goals in maybe a few more situations than Josh Sargent or Jesus Ferreira for that matter as well.
Yeah. And I just wanted to touch on as well last week, we talked about it a little bit, but just sounds like it seems like you mentioned last episode. He's found his level. Eredivisie is again. That's no walk in the park
Hey
at all.
man, he's making the Eredivise look pretty easy, man. I don't know if that's his level.
Yeah. Well, Peacock's doing the same thing every day. No, it just seems like he has all the support, right, in terms of the style of play for attackers, right? Just the league as a whole is just a huge breeding ground for all talent there. And there's been some pretty notable names, right? Bart Groningen. If you look back in the history, right, of some of the top strikers there.
Yeah, a
Had
lot of
some
Luis Suarez comparisons,
yeah,
right?
you know,
For a few weeks.
but not to get ahead of ourselves, but Ricardo is a really good spot, and honestly, I don't know what's going to happen with the contract situation, this and that, the money, right? But in a perfect world, in a FIFA transfer world, I could just take him out of Augsburg, Austin. I would love to see him at even where Mihajlovic is going, like that level club, or maybe a top 4 or 5, in their divisi, and then just continue to climb the ladder from there. Because I don't think this is his ceiling. But this is certainly a good level for him right now that he's performing really towards the top.
Yeah, hey man, keep going the Luis Suarez route. Have Ajax sign you, have him go to Liverpool,
Hey, I'll take it. I would love an America at Liverpool, man.
No, I think you make a really good point, and I think maybe it's not the level, but it's more the style of soccer that's played in the Eredivisie and the Netherlands specifically. I really think it's an attacking minded league, right? It's a very friendly attacking environment. A lot of possession based soccer is played over there.
Augsburg didn't have any of that, right, Austin? Augsburg's style is
Augsburg is just sit back and try and string some passes together and get lucky, basically. No, I mean, yeah, it's such a different environment from what the team he was playing in, like I said, start of this year or even last year with Augsburg. It's just much more possession oriented. Even on some of these lower mid-table teams in their Eredivisie, they still pride themselves on possession play and continuing to create chances, even if it leaves them a little bit exposed at the back. Where in Augsburg, you didn't really see too much of that. You saw a lot of disjointed play and defenders kind of sitting back and not really trying to take make opportunities for themselves, right, basically. So I think staying there could make a lot of sense. I think it really depends on what his options are after the World Cup, right? Because if he goes to the World Cup, starts all of our games, and scores 3 or 4 goals, we go far in the tournament, then I think maybe Augsburg even recall him in the winter, right? And try and get him to a better team than Groningen even. Okay. And I think like a loan to, it's tough to loan him to another Bundesliga team too, right? Because it's like, well, if he's going to play for a team in Germany, it's going to be Augsburg. So I think maybe going to a higher team in the Eredivisie, maybe even a team like Club Brugge in Belgium. They're kind of struggling this year a little bit. Some of those other teams that are kind of in Champions League positions year in, year out, right around the top of the table in the Netherlands or Belgium. But I think going into next year, Augsburg really need to figure out what they're going to do with them, because they either need to send
money, my friend, a lot of money.
To a better situation and take a loss, or again try and integrate him back into his team. But I think he needs to. This is one of those moments where he needs to get with his agent and kind of maybe strategize a way out of Augsburg, because I think you've seen right now that the talent we saw at FC Dallas is definitely still there, and he's got all the confidence in the world and all the capabilities. It's just he's got to find maybe a better fit than that lowly team in Germany. So we'll report back on Ricardo Pepi for next week. But we want to move to our final player for today, and it's a player that we really haven't talked too much about. Pat actually just made his move to England this summer, right, and is actually on loan right now to the Championship, and that's Auston Trusty. So center back, used to be of the Colorado Rapids. Actually, back in the day, used to be of the Philadelphia Union. And pretty good, center back prospect, 24-year-old player. Was able to make the move to Arsenal this summer based on the connections that the Colorado Rapids have with Stan Kroenke being Arsenal's owner as well. So took advantage of that, went on loan to Birmingham City in the Championship, and has really played pretty well for them this year. He started all their games. They're, mid-table team in the championship. So, it's good to see him starting all those games and kind of integrating into the team. What he did this weekend, though, was very impressive, Pat. He actually scored a brace for Birmingham City in their 3-0 win over Bristol City. And both headers came off set pieces. I think he scored both goals even in the first half. So, the man was sitting on a hat trick going into halftime. And pretty unique. It's not every day you see a center back score 2 goals in a game. So
no, not at all.
Yeah. So this performance helped earn him actually championship team of the week honors this week as well. He joined Josh Sargent and Ethan Horvath as well. Ooh. So, it was a pretty US heavy championship team of the week there in England. But I think, just looking at his game, right, Pat, I don't think he'll be an option for Qatar, right? Like we've got some center back questions we're working through right now. And unless there's, a long string of injuries, something like that, that's unforeseen right now. He's probably not going to really feature for the team before Qatar or at Qatar. So looking at, him as a player for 2026 and that World Cup cycle, do you think there's a future, Pat, where we see Auston Trusty get some more involvement with USMNT?
You know what? I'm all for center backs, right, and our back line ready to socks up. I'll be optimistic on this, but to be transparent, I hadn't followed him too much in MLS and in the championship. But from discussions and seeing some discussion boards, on social media there, and read the soccer sphere, it sounds like he has a lot of promise. And even the Birmingham City boss, right, was it Eustace? On loan from Arsenal mentioned he's had a conversation with Greg and said how well he's doing, what a special talent he is, and that bright future he has. So I think you're completely right, spot on. That's somebody we can really bring in maybe for the Gold Cup, other competitions there, and then prove his worth for 2026. Because it sounds like he has a lot of the tools and tangibles to succeed. It might just be too little too late for 2022.
Yeah, and that's fair. I think the way I see Auston Trusty is he's someone who has a really, great frame, right? As a center back, big body, as obviously, scoring 2 goals off set pieces this weekend, obviously, knows how to use it.
We need that, Auston. We need that.
He's always been someone that's been very aggressive in his play, right? I think that's a good mark of what he's able to do as a center back. The one thing I think he really kind of needs to work on still is keeping the ball in possession and making good decisions when he has the ball at his feet. Sometimes his passing is a little bit questionable, for the Rapids and MLS. And I feel like he's always been a center back that's had promise, right? And like I said, has the physical tools, but just needs to get better maybe mentally on that side of the ball. But that'll come with age and repetition and game time. He's still only 24. And I really just think this move over to England, we were talking about this a little bit before we were filming. You could make the argument right now that the culture in MLS maybe is a little bit more lax than, the soccer
Agreed.
culture in England, right? And, playing game in, game out in the championship, I feel like the level of focus is maybe just a little bit more. And I feel like that's kind of what's contributed to his success right from the start in England. Like he's always had that talent. I feel like he's, showed it at times in MLS, but moving to a new league, having to prove himself, I really feel like it's brought out the best in his, abilities. It's brought him to become a little bit more consistent. And who knows where that's going to, take his game going forward.
Right, yeah, and right, that's a deeper. I know you can get deeper and deeper with this, and again, don't just sound, the clip to one bite, right? Of us, we're not anti-MLSers or anything like that, right? But
no,
Auston,
we love the league.
Completely right. You're completely right in terms of, I think even Cole Bassett brought up in an interview when he jumped over there, right there to VC. It is a grind there, day in, day out training. There's relegation, right? Or you're fighting to the Premier League. If you're having bad seasons in MLS, it's just kind of in terms of the training, right? And maybe the intensity might not necessarily be there because you're not going to lose out on anything. You kind of can reset, right? Again, MLS has grown tremendously, but from that end, right, you've seen some guys go over and struggle. On the case like Trusty, right, you've seen him go over and succeed really well with the mentality, that grind day in and day out, to have what it takes to endure that, especially in the championship, because those guys are fighting tooth and nail to get to the Premier League.
playing
You
twice
know,
a week, and yeah.
yeah, the games are intense and the trainings are intense, and you have to do everything right. You cannot take a day off. So I'm with you, Austin. I think this is the guy for the future for sure.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, we're really just gonna have to keep an eye on him. I think he's always been someone who's had a lot of promise as well, right? I can remember back from the U20 World Cup a few years ago, where one of my favorite moments, I think, in any youth tournament was when he scored his goal. I forget what team we were playing, but it was a team that we were beating, probably 5-1, 6-1, and he ended up scoring off a really nice set piece where we took it kind of short to him and scored the goal, pushed the player off of him onto the ground, and then proceeded to run over to the camera and just start dabbing furiously into it. Yeah, it was quite the goal. So I've always been an Auston Trusty fan since that moment, and hope to see him dab more, in the US, on the USMNT and in the red, white, and blue. So, yeah, I guess with that, that's all for this part of our episode today, guys. Now let's head over to Quick Kicks.
All right, guys, and for this Quick Kick segment, I got 2 key takeaways, 2 things to look out for here. We're starting in the championship again. A lot of championship talk, Austin, with Ethan Horvath, my boy, the keeper, right, making the championship team of the week. Another shutout there, 3 solid saves against West Brom. Really keeping Luton Town, in that survival mode, keeping them up. He's had a tremendous start to the season there. Continued to do great things, and hey, I think he's in line for that number 3 spot for the goalkeeper spots there in Qatar. So one to look out for. Next, we got Serginho Dest over at AC Milan. Now, this one's a little bit more concerning. He had a really tough game. Milan did as a whole against Chelsea. Just a really tough performance there where they got overran by the attackers there and wingers. Pretty much anybody but Leao did not do very well. Now, he didn't even play against Weston McKennie and Juventus there over the weekend, and that was a pretty big game. Kalulu got the start. We'll see what happens. Again, we're filming this on Monday, Champions League against Chelsea again. Hopefully, Dest can revive, get another start, kickstart his success at Milan, but looking a little bit shaky, Austin, so far.
Yeah, that was kind of disappointing to see. With Calabria out now, you think, it's his time to shine. So little concerning, but like you said, we'll take a look and hopefully see better things this week. So I have 3 quick kicks for today. The first one I want to give is to Tyler Adams. So Tyler Adams played 90 minutes for Leeds in their 2-1 loss to Crystal Palace. Really looked good in that first half, but kind of, lost momentum in the second half. And I think Tyler Adams deserves a shout out still. He's really started the season off positive for Leeds, been one of their key performers, right? I think him and Brendan Aronson have been both pretty good, but Tyler Adams has kind of been on another level this year.
Oh, yeah.
And in this game, had 4 tackles, 9 duels won, which was really impressive. Also created 2 chances as a center defensive mid. So yeah, just wanted to give him a shout out. He's playing really high right now, at a really high level right now. And that really bodes well for us going into the World Cup. The next quick kick I had, Pat, was a player that's actually not playing abroad right now, but he's a young player to keep your eye on. So I wanted to include him in this. And that's Christian Fletcher. Scored his very first MLS goal this weekend. 17-year-old striker, attacker, really just interesting player, exciting player, someone that I think is going to move abroad when he turns 18. Was trialing at Dortmund. It sounds like, they really wanted to kind of sign him and have him come abroad, but chose to play for, DC United as well.
He was just playing high school, Austin.
Yeah, it was just playing high school.
Could you imagine going up against him?
Man, it's crazy. I mean, some people were. So he's just a really exciting talent. He's got a great, body and physical tools as well for someone his age. So definitely a player to keep your eye on. And the final quick kick I want to, talk through today, unfortunately, is one that's not so great. So Pellegrino Matarazzo was unfortunately sacked today at Stuttgart. They had a really rough start to the Bundesliga season. They're actually sitting 17th in the table right now. So, he had such great success, right, bringing them up from the 2 Bundesliga. Had some even positive moments in their first season in the Bundesliga. I think brought them to 9th in the table. I think that's where they finished in that season. So, really just had some good moments. But unfortunately, things just didn't work out last year the way they wanted. And obviously, like I said, started off the season really poor. So yeah, he's out there in Germany, but hey, who knows, Pat? Maybe he's going to wait after the World Cup and see what happens with Greg Berhalter. Maybe his phone will be ringing. And that's all for episode today, guys. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel down below.
Don't forget social media, Instagram, Twitter, always putting out great content for the Ya fans.
That's right. And this episode's also available in podcast form. So check us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. So yeah, what a great episode today, Pat. It was fun filming with you. It was great to talk about Auston Trusty and his dabbing goal. I always love bringing that up. Such a funny moment.
You have to dab for the amount of Americans abroad that scored. We were all over the map today. Sargent, right? And great to see Pulisic, right? All these guys, and even we didn't even mention Weah. Reyna's getting back, right? But Weah finally back. Our guys rounding into health. Anthony Robinson. I could go on and on. But
I know.
fantastic. That middle of October, everyone's feeling good. Forgetting about those friendlies, right? That's in the rearview mirror.
That's right, man. World Cup's coming up. Roster release is coming up.
Woo.
Holiday season's coming up, right? World Cup with the holidays.
You better sell those USA holiday sweaters, Austin. Those look good.
I know. I was going to say, those are something we'll have to add to our wardrobe for the holiday season. But hey, I think, Pat, that leaves only one thing left to say on this episode, and that is one day we will win the World Cup.